Hi, welcome back to our channel. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about you know uh, hybrid seeds, and also GMO seed. Someone asked a question: is a hybrid seed the same like GMO seeds? So I'm just going to make this thing very quick. So uh, I'm a scientist, so it kind of gives me understanding about these kind of hybrid and the GMO thing because of I have years of research into genetics and all of that. In school, I did it for so many times in the university. So when we talk about hybrid seeds, yeah, hybridization is crossing two similar things. Like they don't have to be that much different. Two similar things, crossing them to get a different outcome. So for instance, let's do with your corn. So for the people who create corn, hybridized corn, this is what they do. So first of all, they do something called a self-pollination. The self-pollination is crossing a corn, the male part of a corn with the female part of the corn. The corn has a tassel. The tassel is the top part of the corn, and then they have the ear shoot, which where the silk comes from. Those parts are the ear shoot. So when the tassel has pollens, so when the pollen from the tassel falls on the silk or the ear shoot, usually they start as a ear shoot before the silk comes out. And then the silk, there's a lot of scientific things that goes in there, but then it just pollinates it, and then you get self-pollination. But when you are doing hybridization, first what happens is mostly the farmer or the scientist, you select, you do inbreeding. That's what we call inbreeding too. People talk about it. It's not good. Those things, everything has advantages and disadvantages. So you do inbreeding first. So you pollinate a corn by itself so that there will not be cross-pollination. So after you do that, what happens is you select the good traits out of the inbreed corn. So after you select that good trait out of the inbreeding corn, what you do is you select one inbred corn to another inbred corn. You plant them on the same land. Once you plant those things on the same land, it's just like the human. I used to use insects to do this kind of research in the lab in the US. I did so many times of this. So that we don't plant, we go and take the vials and then we do whatever scientific thing that we have to do with it. But in this case, you plant the hybridized corn, the inbred one, the hybridized corn. You plant two of them side by side. And then what you do is you want those two to cross each other. So for corn, what they do is if plant A and plant B is what you want to get the hybridized seed from, they cover the top, which is the male part of the corn. You cover that of both of the crops. And you also cover the both part of the female part of each of them. Then you use a paper or whatever you can use from plant A. You collect the pollen from plant A and put it on the silk of plant B. And you also do that. You collect the silk, the pollen from plant B and put it on the pollen of plant A. After that, you cover them all again so that there will not be cross-pollination from any outside source. Then you grow them. So usually, in science, when you do cross-pollination like that, hybridization like that, the outcome of it, is amazing. You get a good trait from both of them. If, let's say, the first self-pollinated corn, each one of them was, let's say, 3 feet. Once the hybridized one, you can get up to about 5 feet out of it, if that's the trait that you are looking for. in most cases, the hybridized one, you will have more yield too out of it. So after you do that, this is what happens in corn or whatever seed that a hybrid seed that they do. Once you get those 2 hybrid seeds, you replant them again, because you want to do, at this stage, you want to do mass production. So you replant them again, but you will find you don't replant those things, those, I don't even know how to say it, those corn that you took from the same farm, you don't replant them together. So this experiment, usually you have to do 2 separate experiments, one on this place, one on another place. So what you do at this time is you go to the other farm or whatever land, go and get the hybridized corn from there. Then you come to your farm, come and get the hybridized corn from that farm, and then plant those 2 corns on the same land. That's why hybrid seeds perform a lot better, because it's as a result of selective selective genetics, that you are selecting the traits that you want to be quality for you, to bring you a good outcome. So you get those from 2 different set of trials from different locations or different farms. Then you plant them on one location. Once you plant them, what you do is, instead of you letting them cross-pollinate each other, you don't do that. Once they are growing, you cut maybe all the tassel from the, let's say, farm A. The seed that you got from there, you cut all the tassel from them, so that you let the tassels from the farm B pollinate the tassels from plant A, the farm A that you collected. Because they should all have about the same traits, because it's the same experiment, but just the different locations. They should all have the same traits that you want. And the outcome of that, you select the quality breeds out of them, and then you mass produce those ones to get your quality, production that you are looking for. I hope I'm able to explain this thing right in some simple way, for people to understand. So hybrid seeds, personally, as a scientist, hybrid seed, to me, they are the best way to go, because the human populations are growing so fast that if you joke around, the hunger is going to come. So this is the way that you can produce a lot of seeds in just farming on a few acres of land, but you have good yield out of them. GMO, I will talk about that too, maybe in another video. But if I can talk about that, for now, GMO seeds, I'm all for that too. Like I have my own views on that, but I'm not against it. It's a similar way of hybridization, but except that in this case, you are taking a particular trait of a corn in the lab. You take the genes out of that corn, the gene that you think is good or can resist some particular things. You take it out of that and you put that gene into a different corn, attach it to it. Maybe let's say you want to resistant to the drought or some kind of sicknesses. You go to the lab, then you do that. You cut off that gene, and then you come and attach that to a different plant that you think the qualities or the genetic components will be good. In hybridization or hybrid seed, you cannot control those kind of traits like that. But GMO seed, you can control exactly what you want to get out of it. Because nowadays there's so many sicknesses going on around with plants and all of that. Somebody will be like, oh, somebody, because of all of this, that's why they came about. No, nature, nature kind of, I would say, regroup itself. Like, there are some new things that are always coming around all the time. Some new sicknesses, like, it's not like somebody creating it. But let's say animals travel from places to places, and once they go to other places, they mutate and they change. Once they change, sometimes it's kind of difficult to control those things. You might be able to control them back then, but at some point you will see that you cannot control those things at all. And that is the purpose of science. Science will find a way to control those things. If there's no science, that's why there's always a lot of plagues going on, nowadays. Because I'm not even going to get into these things, but let me leave it there, because I have my own views because of science. I have my own views on some things that I'm just not going to go deep into it. But hybrid seeds and GMO seeds, the population is growing so fast that if we don't go that way, there's going to be hunger in this world that we can't keep up, unless people are willing to do population control, which also is a whole new topic on its own for people who want to debate about them. Thank you guys for watching and listening. So if anyone has any questions, just leave a comment below. I can't go into details about these like in a short video, because I don't really want this to be long, but it's in a nutshell. It's just about, this is how I can summarize hybrid seeds, how they come about, and all of that.